good morning. This is a quick wrap up on where Scribo is for you to use with your students and getting them logged in and obviously getting their writing checks done, their reports logged. Basically going to walk you through the whole sort of end-to-end experience that you can expect students to go on, and indeed yourselves as well. So first of all, we send students a link. Now these two links are exactly the same, it's just that one has been made into a tiny link, which is sometimes easier to put into an email, and it makes it easier than having characters being typed in like equal signs and question marks and things like that. So sometimes tiny URL can make a lot of sense when you're sending it out in an email. That's step one. So get a link out to any student who you want to join the British Council community. So a student will use the link via email or browser to come into the registration system. So they're actually following a link into your British Council community. They're not going into anything other than sort of like a gated community that's all yours, and they'll use their email to complete the registration. Okay team, once someone has clicked on the link, they come through into registration page. Now they could register with Microsoft account or a Gmail account if they wanted to, or they could just use a unique email account that is here. So this is really the fields. I mean, the first name, so we can talk to them nicely, email, password, the region. Now we put a few regions in here because the regions are quite diverse, but obviously if there's more or less that you need, please let us know, excuse me. The current score, the target score, the test date, and agree to service. Now once they confirm they're not a robot, they have an account in Literatu Scribo. So what that'll do is it'll send an email to that account, which they then confirm, and that's where we'll come back into the system just as we do that. Okay team, once someone has clicked on the link, they come through into registration page. Now they could register with Microsoft account or a Gmail account if they wanted to, or they could just use a unique email account that is here. So this is really the fields. I mean, the first name, so we can talk to them nicely, email, password, the region. Now we put a few regions in here because the regions are quite diverse, but obviously if there's more or less that you need, please let us know, excuse me. The current score, the target score, the test date, and agree to service. Now once they confirm they're not a robot, they have an account in Literatu Scribo. So what that'll do is it'll send an email to that account, which they then confirm, and that's where we'll come back into the system just as we do that. Okay, so here's the email that comes through. Delighted to have you join the Literatu community. If you'd like any changes to this email text, please let us know. It's pretty simple. They click on that link there, they get taken back into Scribo, and they're off. So when I say they're off, what that means is they have their 1 credit. They have the choice of the 4 essays that you chose them to have access to. So from here, they can very quickly choose the essay of their choice. Everything is as you've seen to have available to you so far. We do have a writing plan in here now. The writing plan is built around the recommendation of IELTS, the PEAL, which is obviously the point, explanation, evidence, and link to the question planning mechanism. This is really, I think, quite nice because they can see the keywords, the prompt, they can use the microphone to plan their essay as best they can without having to type. And if you talk a bit slower than I did, it's usually very, very accurate. So they get some speaking practice as well, look on the bright side. And basically they can use that or not bother. Now once they've got a plan, obviously they can then write to the plan, and that's where they click here to start writing. So I won't put you through the writing piece again, but I'll bring you back into the system once they've completed their work and they've handed it in. When they hand something in, it decreases the credit, and their credit experience with Scribo is over. So that's what happens as a result of doing an essay. I'll come back into the system now with an account that's already got some answers in there, and we'll just talk about the multilingual feedback and the printing of the PDF report, and that's pretty much the whole process. Okay, we're back now with a student who has got they've chosen their essay prompt and they've done their essay response. So obviously when they have done that, they'll hand it in. I'll, in this case, just do a check so I can keep the system alive and then show you what happens. Obviously, you've seen all this. They get their CEFR rating. They can hover and see that. This is where the multilingual feedback kicks in, and this is where they can convert that to Arabic, as you probably know. Some other things, nice things we've put in here is the writing clarity, which really looks at where alternatives could be used and whether superfluous words could be omitted. It's a nice little feature inside grammar and spelling, and it really helps improve vocabulary and use of vocabulary. But I got a bit sidetracked there because I was showing you paragraph feedback in multilingual. So the report now is obviously available on screen, as you can see here. If the writing report is not current, it will run another writing report. That's the only reason it will be a bit slower than normal to come down. And obviously now you can download the PDF. So the downloading of the PDF is great for your environment where you're looking at the report and you're putting it into the IELTS portal and you're doing those sort of things there. That's something that the students can print and can save and can do all sorts of things with. And it's really a good looking report. So that's the student experience. Now, as I've got credits here because I'm in a different type of account, but their credit count will be 0. If they want to get some more credits, the system will take them through how to do that to us. But at the end of the day, that's really what the student will get is the topic, the writing check, and the exemplar, and their writing plan that they were using when they did their work. So there's a good body of work there. I think the other thing that's really important for students to know is that within these elements themselves, there is help, a lot of help around just good advice on English and grammar and punctuation and passive, all the things that we talk about, we have help for. So Cohesion, Cohesive Explorer is a fantastic way for students to pick different connectives across their writing, and all of that is there, and I'm sure you've explored that as well. So that's really the end point for a student who's using it. Let me take you out and come back in as the British Council sort of supervisor system, and you'll see something that's called a marking queue. So we'll do that now. Okay, so these students are all logging in, hopefully 6,000 of them are all logging in. They're doing their work, they're getting their report. How do you get visibility of that is what I want to cover off now. So when you log into your British Council account, the BC account, you've got a system in here called the marking queue. The marking queue is everything that's going on inside the system. So we've loaded some practice data in here just so you get a sense of what it looks like. But essentially anyone who does a writing check, you'll have their email account, you'll have the date they hand in, and you'll have the ability to see their grade and single click download the report. So this is a nice new feature that will make it much more streamlined for your team, Caroline, to really grab that report, save it, put it where the portal, or the learning portal, or whatever you do with it, and then you cycle on to the next student. So these are first in, first out. So the last in, first out. So if you clear them out by the day, you can go down and just make sure that you've got them. Where you've printed them, there'll be a date, so I know it says something crazy there, but that's okay. It's demonstration data, but when you've printed it off, it gives you the date you printed it off, which is really important because you know it's been done. So that's really the end game of the whole thing. Of course, you've got dashboards and metrics across all of the 6,000. We could do another video on that a bit later, but you see what times people are doing it, the total number of things. You can have a look at the biggest problems in grammar. This is where you get some insights into what's going on, which is another video and another conversation. But if there's anything in that process that I've covered off here that doesn't quite fit or needs a bit of tweaking, it's no problem. Let's get it right. Let's get it comfortable with you, and the system will just run in a very automated way, which is ideally what we all want. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon.